Hello, my friends. I want to do this video on the great lymphatic system. If you do not understand your lymphatic system, you will not understand anything of what the medical doctors loosely call diseases. Medical doctors blame all a man's suffering, all the pain, all the swelling, all the tumors, all the cysts, all the fibromyalgia, all the lupus, all of these things they blame on ticks, they blame on Epstein-Barr viruses, they love to blame the pathogens or the little microbes of bacteria. They love to blame all these people. The problem with it, nothing could be further from the truth. This is the problem. They're riding a wagon down the wrong road, and that road is dark. There's no answers. There's no answers to the questions down that road, and everybody ends up getting hurt or dying going down that road. Nobody walks out of medical treatment with a robust sense of vitality and health, because that's not their gig. That's not what they do. And I thought the lack of understanding of the body's major fluid and focusing on the minor fluid, the blood, is very inappropriate for any type of health understanding, because 99% of man's suffering has nothing whatsoever to do with the blood and has everything to do with the lymphatic system. So let's go over the body's lymphatic system, because it's real easy to understand that system. The theory allopathically doesn't fit if you understand the body's lymph system and you start watching it work properly. When you get it fixed, you will start to confirm and see all these things we're going to talk about here. So if you stop and think about the human body for a minute, the human body is simply just a bunch of cells. 100 trillion cells roughly comprise the human body, head to toe. So if I'm looking at your liver, I'm just looking at a bunch of cells. If I'm looking at your heart, I'm looking at a bunch of cells. If it's a female, I'm looking at the ovaries or the uterus or the cervix. What am I looking at? A bunch of cells. If I look at a man's prostate, testicles, bunch of cells. If I look at your muscles, if I look at your bones, bunch of cells. If I look at your brain, bunch of cells. How about your skin? Bunch of cells. So the human body is comprised roughly of 100 trillion cells. So the buck stops at the cell, because everything you experience in the human body is because of cells. Whether they're producing your hormones that make things happen, your steroids that make things happen, your neurotransmitters which turn on the nervous systems, all these things make everything happen. So your endocrine glands in the human body are really the bosses. They're the best government that you ever had, because this government helps all the people by what they produce, and everybody works together. So the buck stops really at the cell. So if we took the body apart and we said, okay, wow, everything's a bunch of cells, what else is in there? Well, two major fluids. There are two major fluids that flow around all the cells. These two major fluids are called interstitial fluids, which simply means fluids that flow around the cells, right? Now, that comprises the predominance of the human body. Outside of that, you have some bacterium, which is essential. Every septic system I know of has bacteria in it, and you would never kill the bacteria in your septic tank. You do that, and you're in trouble, and we'll go over that here in a minute. People have some viruses. Get rid of them. They're easy. They're proteins. They're not little single-celled organisms. They're like antigens. Their job is to bond, if you will, to the weaker cells to create immune response. You can have high viral loads in your body and never have a problem. High Hep C, high HIV viral loads, no problem. When they start bonding, now you have to the cell, now you have AIDS, or you have deterioration of the liver, or whatever virals that are involved. HPV, it doesn't matter. But till then, they're just a protein that you can detoxify out of the body. Doesn't matter. Herpes, it doesn't matter what it is. You can detoxify these out of your body. Now, we got some protozoa. Some people have worms and flukes. Okay, clean these out of the body, not difficult. And there's some chemistry in the body. But outside of that, the predominance of the human body is simply just cells and two major fluids. And these two major fluids, of course, their job is to take care of the health of the cells. Right? And these two major fluids are very simple to understand because it's easy to understand what one has to do to be healthy. Every house that I know of is full of, have two rooms in them that matches these two fluids. Cars have these two areas in them so the motor can run efficiently. Everywhere that I see in the world, you have two things taking place. Creation is more or less a consumption and elimination activities. Almost everywhere you see is consumption and elimination of energetics, of chemistry, and then the elimination of wastes or byproducts from the interaction of chemistry. Whenever chemistry comes together, there's always byproducts eliminated from this. So we see that in industry, and of course we call the byproducts of industry pollution because most of the places just dumped them in the water, dumped them in the air, dumped them into the ground. So we lightly call that pollution. But plants eat and eliminate, animals eat and eliminate, humans eat and eliminate, everything eats and eliminates at this level. Well, that could also mean the cells, right? Every cell in your body just about eats and eliminates as well. So we find that we have two separate issues that we have to deal with. The eating or the consuming of nutrition, but then also the eliminating of waste. Because some people don't stop and think that the reason why you eat, as it is to eat, it is also vital to eliminate waste. And if you've had a little baby in your life, you have two things that you must do to that baby for that baby to be well. You must feed them, but you must also change the diaper. Because he who shall eat shall also eliminate waste. And this is also true at 100 trillion cells. If you look at the body, you have basically two major kind of waste and one sub-major kind of waste. The major waste, one of the major wastes in the human body is digestive waste. That's obvious. That goes out the stool, goes out the colon. That's digestive waste. What about cellular waste? What about waste from 100 trillion cells? What happens? Well, medical doctors pretty much believe in the theory that you poop in your kitchen. Pretty much you dump your cellular waste right back into the venous system, into the blood. So massage therapy bought on that theory, and if you do a lymph drainage, they're draining to the inferior vena cava, basically to your heart. Now, that means that you're taking sewage and pushing them toward your kitchen. I think that's insane. That lacks practicality. You don't see it anywhere in nature. Everybody's trying to get rid of the waste out of the house because they're toxic. No question about it. So you must understand that there's another channel for eliminating cellular waste, and it becomes very obvious. And you can see this firsthand. And you can see when you correct this problem of the inability to remove cellular waste, and you can begin to see the effects of that. So let's look at the great lymphatic system, because when we look in the body and we cut a piece of liver tissue off and we put it under a microscope and we throw it up on the wall, what do we see? We see a bunch of cells and two major fluids. One of the major fluids is moving fairly quick. That's the blood. Now the blood only comprises 1/4 of this fluid. Only 1/4 of the fluid, and medical doctors are fixated on that fluid? Are we really? What's 3/4 of interstitial fluids? That's right. That's your lymph fluids. Your lymph fluids is your thicker lipid-based, probably cholesterol-based, lipid-based fluid. It's a thicker mucousy fluid. The mucosa that lines your mouth, your sinuses, lines the whole body, the gut, the lungs, the bronchi. All that mucosa is part of your lymph system. Your lymph system is the body's gigantic sewer system / main immune system. Even your blood dumps into the lymph system what it doesn't want. Just like in the kitchen, if you don't want it, throw it in the trash or put it down the food disposal. That's what your body does. The blood must keep itself clean. It's the pizza delivery guy. It's the guy that brings on the goodies. Can't do everything. You can't dump waste in your blood, and you'll see real soon here why you can't do that. There must be another path outside to the outside world. And you'll see that path. Now let's look at the great lymphatic system. When you look at these fluids flowing around the cell, the blood is carrying nutrition and moving right along. What you have here, you have the arteries bringing in the blood and the veins taking away the used up oxygenated blood and stuff. So what you've got is you've got capillaries here on the venous side, and you have capillaries here on the lymph side. Now, the problem with the venous capillaries, they're too small for most proteins and acids and cells, so the body can't dump waste back that way. It must go the lymph way. So the lymph takes any damaged cells, the lymph takes all the waste from cells and carries them to the lymph vessels. Now, we have blood vessels, but no one's ever talked to you about your lymph vessels. And your lymph vessels simply are the sewer pipes in the human body that carry waste from the cells to the little chambers where these wastes are acted upon. And this chamber is the same chamber your house has out in the yard, or the city has if you live in a swankier neighborhood. So let's look at it in terms of comparing your body sewer system to your home sewer system, because they're identical. So when you have to go to the bathroom, we find a toilet or a hole or something, but in a house we generally have toilets here. We put our waste in toilets, we flush the toilet. We know our wastes are being pushed through the sewer pipes by the water. We know, if you know a little more about it, you know that out in the yard is a septic tank. Now, you know septic tanks are designed to where all your waste go into them. The liquids are ran off to the drain field and absorbed back down into the aquifers, being filtered through all the layers. But your solids are staying in the tank. Now, who's in that tank just waiting for supper to come along? Right? Bacteria. I'm afraid of bacteria. Be afraid of waste. If you're going to be afraid of anything, don't be afraid of the messenger. Be afraid of what your bacteria is acting upon. This is the problem. Medical doctors still go by this antiquated Jenner Pasteur theory of the germ. And wasn't it Pasteur, I believe, died on his deathbed saying, whoops, nope, I'd killed one of my kids trying to prove something that's fallacy. So your body does the same thing, from the cells to the lymph vessels to the body's septic tanks. And you've got hundreds and hundreds of septic tanks in your body. My house only has one. And the septic tanks in your body, of course, are called lymph nodes. And your lymph nodes are full of immune cells to take care of any damaged cells and bacteria. Now, what is the role of bacteria? To break down sewage? Same sewage in your septic tank as in your body? Absolutely. Because what is in a septic tank? Urine and stool. And I just gave away where your body gets rid of waste, didn't I? I just gave that to you. Because from the lymph nodes, medical doctors believe you reabsorb waste back into the venous system. They don't even consider lymph nodes as a big deal. They soon cut out your tonsils or adenoids or appendix or any lymph node you want. Just cut it. If it's swollen, cut it out. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's say that you got up in the morning, you use the toilet, you flush the toilet, and pretty soon you go, oh my God, this is backing up in my house. Something's blocked. So you call a septic man out. He comes out and he says, well, sir, your septic tank's full out there. Going to have to remove it. Well, don't I need a septic tank, sir? No, sir. No, we can get that right out of there for you. Well, okay. So what if my septic tank was full and I had it removed instead of simply cleaned out? I had it removed, but I kept using and flushing the toilet in the house. Think that'd be a bit of a problem for me in the house? Absolutely. It'd start backing up in the house and run me right out, wouldn't it? Well, when you take a lymph node out, you got cells on the other side of that lymph node dumping their waste to that lymph node. What happens to that? Well, in many cases, the word was lymphedema, meaning your lymph system backed up, your sewer system backed up. But this isn't just a sewer system. Oh, no. We're not to the best part yet. So you never remove lymph nodes, just simply clean them out. And if you have a cancer cell in the lymph nodes, where else would you want the body to take these cells? Got any idea? You want to throw them in the blood, something like that? That's obvious. That's your system that cleans you. That's your immune system. That's the system that helps the body keep clean. Just remember that.